Hi guys, so I wanted to do an intro for Pan That Palette. My Pan That Palette this year is going to be some single eyeshadows that I have throughout my collection, and then also just a couple of random eyeshadows as well. So yeah, this is going to be my intro video. I want to do updates. I'm just not sure how often you guys would like to see updates. So if you can let me know down below if you prefer to see like monthly updates or quarterly or like how often. I don't think I do anything like sooner than a month just because, you know, like in 2 weeks sometimes nothing happens. So let me know down below what you would like to see and like how often you would like to see updates from me. But yeah, I am super excited to be doing Pan That Palette again. And I am going to introduce you to my eyeshadows. So they are mostly Makeup Geek eyeshadows that I have in this little Z palette here. Now I do have other shades that as I finish up these I'll be substituting in, but for right now these are my main shades, and then if I substitute something in you'll know in my updates. So these are the shades here. Like I said, all Makeup Geek items in here. I really like them. So I'm going to go through each of these guys individually, but I want to mention I also have a single pigment from Makeup Geek. I've pressed this before and I wasn't thrilled with how it just functioned as an eyeshadow in a pan, so I'm going to keep it in this little jar as it stands today, but in my head it's like right here. And then I also have a pink eyeshadow from the Bare Minerals quad that I've been working on for a while that I would just like to have a little bit more trackable progress on, and also a little bit more motivation, like, you know, if I have to update I better be working on it kind of a thing. So yeah, let's go ahead and start. So I'm going to go shadow by shadow here, and let me just pull out the first one. So this is Makeup Geek Vanilla Bean, and it is just a cream shadow. It does have a little bit of sparkle in it, but honestly it doesn't transfer that way. But I do have quite a dip in it. I'm not sure if you can really tell there, but I do have quite a bit of dip. So how I use this shadow is I set my eyeshadow primer every day with it, and then I similarly use a shadow like this just every day in my routine. So once this is done I will go to other matte kind of creamy shades like this, but that's kind of how I use it. I also use it as a brow bone highlight. I do prefer a matte brow bone highlight under, you know, my brow bone obviously. For my eyeshadow look. So that is how I plan to use this one. I think this will probably be the first shadow I hit pan on during this project. Okay, the next one is Makeup Geek Shimma Shimma. Oh, I should probably do swatches of these. Duh. Okay, let's see here. Let's get a swatch of Vanilla Bean first. I'll get like a heavy swatch so we can really see it, just because it's, yeah, you really can't tell, but it's right there. It really does just kind of blend in to my natural skin color. Okay, the next one here is Shimma Shimma, which is a really beautiful like champagne shade. I do have it on today in my inner corner, and then I layer it over some of the other shades. Super pretty. I also like it in my inner corner here. I just said that, duh. So this is the second shade, and I have a little bit of a dip in there. I think this is going to be easy for me to get through just because I do really love a champagne shade, especially for layering or any kind of like look that's getting a little bit too dark. I'll just throw some of that on. So that's a swatch of it there catching the light. Super pretty. So the premise of this, me picking these shadows, is that they all expire for me by the end of next year to my standards, which is powders in my collection I don't let stay any longer than 5 years. So that's kind of how this is being pieced together. But I will say, if any of these shadows start to irritate my eyes or they're just not performing, I have no problem like pitching them, and they will just be out of the project. So just keep that in mind. Okay, the next one is Makeup Geek Beaches and Cream, which I have a big spot of pan in already, which is really nice and encouraging to see. So I use this as my transition shade, and I absolutely love it. For my fair complexion, this is a really nice kind of warm transition shade that I can use actually pretty much with any look. So let me just swatch here for you. So it's this shade right here. So again, very neutral so far, nothing too crazy. Okay, the next one is a matte brown. Oh, there we go. I couldn't get it out. And this is Makeup Geek's Barcelona Beach. So this one looks a little bit darker in the pan than it does on my eyes, I think. I do have it on in my crease today, right in there. So I put my transition shade down first and then this on top of it. So this is the shade. I really don't have much of a dip in it, and this one does get hard pan pretty easily, so sometimes I have to scrape off the top layer of it for it to be fresh again. So this one, I'm not really sure if I'll hit pan naturally or if it's going to be because I'm having to scrape off the layers, but anyway, this is the fourth shadow that I'll be working on. So let's get a little swatch here. Okay, so that's it there. Just a nice medium brown shade that pairs well with this transition shade. Okay, I'm wiping my hand on my towel between each of these. Okay, the next one is Makeup Geek Unexpected. So this is like a purpley shade. In the pan, it looks a little bit more purple. On my skin, it can turn a little bit more rosy, I think, but I'm fine with it. I really like how this looks. This is also similar to the Barcelona Beach, where I just don't have much, like you can see that I've used it. Like the top kind of like pressed pattern is disturbed, but it's not like super any like dips or dents or anything like that. So that is the next shade, and this looks a little something like this. So it's right there. So when you go a little bit lighter, as you can kind of see on the edges, it can look a little bit more rosy, but you also can build it up pretty well and get a nice kind of deeper, almost a plummy tone of a shade. So yeah, that is that shadow. Okay, so to go with the brown and the purple, I also have kind of like a shimmery version, and these I like on the outer third of my lid. So I guess I failed to mention, when I use this one, I use it in the crease. So pretty much my options are a brown in the crease or a purple in the crease, which are perfect for me because I'm a neutral lover, so I don't need anything extra. So my brown that goes on the outer kind of third is Homecoming. And this one is a pretty soft shadow, so I do have a little bit of a dip in it, as you can see. I'm just going to kind of rotate it to try to show you a little bit better. So in that middle part, I do have a good dip. So I think this one's going to be fairly easy to hit pan on. The matte shadows definitely are pressed pretty densely, similarly to the like Too Faced eyeshadows, I feel like. But these shimmery ones are a little bit looser and a little bit easier to pick up on your brush. So this is Homecoming. Let me just grab a clean finger here. It feels really, really fresh in the pan still. So I'm like pretty pleased with it. So that's what it looks like there. So it's kind of like a brown bronze, and it catches a little bit of gold in the light. It's really pretty. I do quite like it. Okay, the next one, so kind of the counterpart of this, but for my purple kind of streak of things, is Twilight from Makeup Geek. So this one does have a little bit more of a dent in it too than the matte, but it's not as deep as my brown or like my Shimma Shimma. So that is kind of where I'm starting. And again, I use this one in the outer third on my eye when I do eye looks. So that's it there. It catches just a little bit of light, not as reflective as some of my other like more metallic-y shades in here, but it's still pretty, and it pairs well with the matte shade there. They kind of blend together really nicely. Okay, and then the last shadow in this palette is Corrupt, which is the black for Makeup Geek, and it's a beautiful black. It's a matte black. I use this to set my eyeliner. I am a fan of setting my eyeliner. I really feel like it makes a difference for the look and the wear of my eyeliner. So that is something I prefer to do, and that's how I plan to use this black. So I do think pan is attainable. I don't think I'll be like finishing this up anytime soon, and I'll get into the goals for each of these shadows after I show them all to you. So this is the black. I'm just going to do a little swatch of it for you, but it picks up really nicely. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. So there is that. Okay, so that is the palette. Now I do have the loose pigment, and this is in the shade Sweet Dreams from Makeup Geek, and it's just this perfect, if you are familiar with the Lorac Pro, just the original black palette, it's very similar to light bronze. So it's kind of like a goldy shade, but it's not too yellow and it's not too dark. It is what I have on the middle of my lid today. So let me just pull my glasses off. It's this color here in the middle. And this is a look that I do very regularly. So let me just screw the top off of here and get a little bit of it, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so it's right there. So it's a nice kind of lighter gold shade, but it's like not too yellow, which I really appreciate. Again, being so fair, anything too gold can just kind of look a little bit wonky on me, I feel like. So I really, really love this shade and can appreciate what it can do for me. So there's that guy. And then the last shade is the Bare Minerals Chic. This was a quad called the Modern Icon. It was limited edition, so it's not like still around or anything. And I already have pan on it. I just really want to finish it up. So that is the shade right there. And I can just give you a swatch of that too. And I use this on my inner corner of my eye. So it's right there. It's just very brightening. So I use a fluffy brush here. I can show you. I use this fluffy Sigma E25 sample brush that I got, and I swoop it right in the inner corner like this. It really helps in my opinion because I wear my glasses every day. I mean, occasionally I wear contacts, but I definitely am primarily a glasses wearer. It really helps give a little bit of light and brightness behind the lenses, just because that can add a shadow to your eyes sometimes and make you look a little bit more sunken in than you are. So these are the shadows I plan to work on this year. Like I said, I do have replacements, so like when I finish up the matte cream shade, that Vanilla Bean, I have another shadow I can use. And I also have another shadow for this Beaches and Creams. It's like basically a dupe, but it's the Urban Decay ABC Gum. So I will plan to use that to continue on with these shadows. But I'm really excited for these. If you aren't familiar, I travel for work. So having just a nice little Z palette like this is going to be perfect. It's small and compact, and I have a variety of looks that I can do with this. So I'm excited for that. And I'm just a neutral lover, so I don't need any crazy shadows. I do have other palettes. I recently just got the Anastasia Sultry palette, which I really love. So if I want to change any of the pops of kind of shimmers that I'm using, or just switch out anything, or maybe have like a cool tone look, I can reach to there. I also have the Gwen Stefani palette from Urban Decay. So I have other options that I can mix and match with these, but I would really like to just see how much progress I can make. So looking at these shadows realistically, again, if any of these start to irritate me or just really go off, I'm not going to force myself to keep using them. I'm not going to. It's not worth it for me. But I want to finish up my Vanilla Bean. I would love to finish up Shimma Shimma, and I would love to finish up Beaches and Cream. For the rest of these, I would love to just hit pan on them. And then as far as my Sweet Dreams pigment, I just want to see how far I can get with it. I'm not sure if finishing it completely is going to be a realistic goal or not, just because like you don't need that much. So that's kind of like a snapshot of what's in here. I will take pictures, and these will be on my Instagram for you too, but that's not something that I'm super focused on, like forcing myself to finish up. For the Pink Chic shade, I would really love to finish it up. I already have pan. It's a really easy shadow for me to use. I think throughout the course of the year I can get it finished up. I'm not too worried about it. So those are kind of my goals. Maybe I'll surprise myself and end up using other shadows further than pan in here. We'll just have to wait and see, but I hope you join me for Pan That Palette and you're excited to see where I go with this. I'm excited to see where I go with it and see how much progress. I love hitting pan. I love seeing finished eyeshadows. It's just one of those really satisfying things. So let me know down below what you are planning to pan this year. If you're doing an eyeshadow palette, if you have an Instagram that I could look out for your updates, or if you have a YouTube video, I would love to see your progress over the months. Otherwise, if you want to let me know how often you'd like to see updates, I would definitely be curious to know what you guys would prefer to see from me. And yeah, so we'll just see where it goes, and I'm excited for the year. So yeah, that's all I have, and I'll see you guys in my next one.